Steve Andrews is giving a voice to the voiceless and taking the powerful to task. Now, a Target 8 investigation.
Congress wants to know if birth defects and illness suffered by this little girl and others are tied to a toxic weed killer sprayed by the military. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is that research, which is so important to tens of thousands of veterans and their families, just is not getting done.
Important because it could shed more light on what is causing so many veterans and family members to be sick. Target 8 senior investigative reporter Steve Andrews tells us those tasked with doing this research seem to be stuck in first gear.
And that would be the Department of Veterans Affairs. Why? Why the delay? Well, it looks like they just don't want to go there. Navy veteran Lonnie Kilpatrick knew he was dying. Sadly, part of his legacy, children and grandchildren with health problems and birth defects.
You know, like I got a granddaughter that's already had brain surgery.
Lonnie was exposed to a toxic herbicide the military used throughout the Vietnam War era called Agent Orange. The weed killer wiped out jungle vegetation in which the enemy hid. It's meant sickness and death to veterans like Lonnie and their families.
I know my kids, they all have this thing that's caused by Agent Orange.
The herbicide ruined Lonnie's heart.
They say it can be passed down for 3 generations.
We don't know, but we're not going to find out unless we do the research.
Congress ordered the VA to research Agent Orange effects on the children and grandchildren of veterans. According to Betty Metakecki of Birth Defect Research for Children, that hasn't happened.
I'm not happy that they're just reviewing what they've already looked at.
I've had heart issues my whole life.
Lonnie's daughter, Carrie Ackerson, and granddaughter, Emma, suffer from similar brain malformations, conditions associated with Agent Orange, a position denied by the VA. Emma underwent corrective brain surgery.
It's made life very difficult. You know, she asks, why is she being punished?
Emma's long list of painful, debilitating illnesses soon returned. Are you hurting?
Well, most of the times.
Last night she was complaining of both her hips throbbing, nausea, and a headache.
Most of the time it just feels like throbbing on my hip. Or like shocks.
As a parent, it's just hard to watch your child suffer. Being a nurse, that's what you do. You want to help. But for her, there's nothing I can do.
Now, I reached out to members of Florida's congressional delegation today to ask about this VA delay on researching this data. Senator Marco Rubio's office responded that it found my report concerning and says it will look into it.
Is this one of those money things? I mean, why is the research stalled?
Well, the VA certainly isn't hurting for money. Let's look at that angle first, but not with a $187 billion budget. But Betty Metakecki points out that it's got more to do with concern about what research could show. Now, if you can't tie the birth defects and health problems to toxics like Agent Orange, the government might think, well, it doesn't have to pay. But in reality, in many cases, taxpayers are already paying for special classes, special services, special teachers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's just, we're looking at it in a different light.
Right. All right. Thanks, Steve. And if you'd have a problem that you'd like Steve to investigate, call our Target 8 helpline, the number 1-800-338-0808.